Good morning, everyone. Today is Sunday, June 9th, and we're coming to you from Hendersonville, North Carolina, where we're basking in the glory of being named one of the number 5 unknown desirable retirement places, according to USA Today. Thank you all for being here, and thank you, Charlotte, for giving me this opportunity. She said I didn't have enough wisdom for a Wednesday session, so I had to do Sunday. In preparing for this, I realized why I'm not one of those people who get their Christmas shopping done in August. As long as there's more time, I will continue to buy, wrap, and rearrange. And since this was offered to me, it's been more writing, more editing, more ideas. Maybe that's why I procrastinate. I don't talk much in front of large groups. According to the personality inventory tests, I'm considered an introvert, even though I can be outgoing and confident. Plus, unlike so many others who've graced this stage, I don't have a spiritual superpower. But I do believe we all have something of value to share. So to do this today is a step outside my comfort zone, but if you're going to try something new, what better place to do it than in front of a group of people who are practicing unconditional love and acceptance? I call this talk, So What Brings You Here? I'm using it as a figure of speech that can be understood on different levels, from casual social talk to what brings you to Hendersonville, to what brings you to the Namaste Center. As I continue, you might ask yourself the same question. It occurred to me that it's been 2 years this month since moving from Memphis. It has been a journey of coincidences, luck, and kismet. In other words, spirit-led, only I didn't know it. When I meet people and explain that we chose Hendersonville, essentially sight unseen, I'm asked, so what brings you here? Besides the fact that my younger sister lives about 2 hours away, in Charlotte, of all places, what caught my attention was a piece I saw on 60 Minutes over 5 years ago. It was a segment about the happiest places to live. Globally, it was determined that Denmark was the happiest. Domestically, it was Asheville. I found the archive segment online, but the part about Asheville no longer exists. It's been deleted. But the information about the broadcast says that it was aired 2 times, once in '08 and again in '09. I saw it both times. It appears rating cities and towns has become a trend that is constantly shifting. Being named a #1 anything is a bragging right that adds to its attraction. Asheville has earned many #1 spots over the last decade for categories such as Beer City USA, a 3-peat, Top 10 dog-friendly resort towns, one of America's best affordable places to retire, 10 most surprisingly vibrant food cities, one of America's best rock venues, and you'll be happy to hear, free capital of the U.S. Freak. We didn't start looking in Asheville, though. We thought we would end up on the West Coast. Memphis was where we lived and worked, but once my son graduated from high school, we thought San Diego would be where we would live. Walt, my second husband, grew up there and still had family. He purchased a small condo the year before we met, and then we got doggy children, large doggy children. Suddenly, the little condo would no longer do. Big dogs need lots of room to roam. California has some gorgeous areas, but it's way overpriced. West Tennessee is beautiful, but the summers are brutally hot and humid. We like cool weather, but also seasons. A close airline friend had recently retired from Memphis to a small town in the Ozarks, and she suggested we look there for a home in the mountains. We were also aware that earth changes were being predicted, and while not buying into it 100%, we were hedging our bets. We were looking for a place that could be self-sustaining if need be. We thought we found the perfect spot when we stumbled on a 40-acre piece of land off the beaten path. We made a contingency offer on the farm based on the sale of his condo. We thought that would be scooped up immediately. We planned on having a dog rescue at the farm, a doggy daycare, some land for farming, and some land for family to come to when 2012 came and life as we knew it no longer existed. However, the real estate bust blew those dreams away. California, Texas, and Florida were the hardest hit. We watched our condo go from red hot to sub-zero. The country life that seemed within reach disappeared. The downturn in the market gave us time to reconsider. The move was not popular with our family. They did not relish the idea of coming to a remote area to visit. The search continued. Months later, one Sunday night, I caught that fateful 60 Minutes program. It was about happy places in Asheville, but I didn't know anything about Asheville. All I knew was the Biltmore. I'd heard positive things, but nothing specific from anybody that I really knew on a first-hand basis. I began to investigate, and the more I learned, the more excited I became. This was an area devoted to good food, arts, music, animals, the outdoors, and microbreweries. My interest was piqued, and the best part that I didn't discover till I moved here full-time, Asheville is a spiritual mecca. Who knew? The Asheville area is a magnet for those in the New Thought movement. Is it the geography? It feels like the Blue Ridge and the Smokies are two arms of a protective embrace, sheltering those within. Unlike the rest of the country, there are few natural disasters to contend with. The Appalachians are said to be the oldest on the planet, and people who visited other mountain ranges don't get the feeling of being sheltered like they do here. Cass and Jim, who most recently came from Alaska, say they can definitely feel a difference. They describe the mountains of Alaska as fierce and raw. Those mountains don't care about sustaining human life. So if contemplating a move to such untamed wilderness, be prepared for survival. Asheville, on the other hand, is like a gentle old hippie friend from back in the day. It has been called the Paris of the South and Santa Fe of the East for attracting writers, artists, poets, musicians, and other creative types. It hosts yoga studios, massage therapists, organic food markets, and vegetarian restaurants. Music lovers have likened it to Austin or Seattle for its availability of live music venues and the big name artists that come through this area. It's also known for its artisans. Many came to help construct the Biltmore estate over a century ago and stayed afterward, spreading out around the countryside. In fact, this area is the epicenter of the American crafts movement. The Grove Park Inn's construction was heavily influenced by arts and crafts principles and has one of the largest collections of arts and crafts furniture in the world. Today, the influence of that movement remains strong in the Asheville area, reflected in the large number of working craft studios in the region. It also boasts an air of tolerance that many larger, more sophisticated cities don't possess. Add to the names already mentioned, San Francisco of the South, for the high number of LGBT people who live here. There is a feeling of live and let live that is carried forward from generations of mountain settlers. This open-mindedness may be due to the tourist industry, a huge portion of Asheville's revenue base, which has forced the acceptance of others different from oneself. It also may have been because of the influx of Yankees who came to work on the construction of the Biltmore and ended up staying. Predictably, people visit, fall in love, and want to make it their home. One person described it like the perfect pair of shoes. You aren't in the market for it, but you see it and you have to have it. I went about it a little differently. I decided I wanted to be here and then found all the reasons to fall in love. And my lifelong love has been personal and spiritual growth. Maybe the trillions of tons of quartz in the mountains act as a psychic magnet, drawing those with similar inclinations to Asheville. It's interesting to note the people who are here from other spiritually powerful locations, like Marin County, California, Seal Mattingly, who's absent today, Santa Fe, Jim and Vicki. Hawaii, Carol. Sedona, Judy Ray. Ireland, Ahanu. And Florida, everyone else. Some see this land as divinely blessed. Others say the Atlanteans fled here from their dying continent. The Cherokee Nation, which lived here for centuries, infused the land with their energy, or kituwa, which many can feel. Mystics believe the concentration of power points, or vortices, the highest anywhere in the world, draws seekers. There are said to be 24 of these concentrated energy centers in this area alone, and many more power spots, which are lower points of energy, spread out over a wider area. Futurist and predictor of Earth changes Gordon Michael Scallion, who has been compared to Edgar Cayce and Nostradamus, believes this area will be an educational and healing center for the country. Looking at what's here now, one would think this has already come to pass. A quick browse produced a list of acupuncturists, bioacoustic practitioners, colon hydrotherapists, and on down the alphabet. This doesn't include continuing groups like drumming circles, ecstatic dance, Diksha blessings, and others. Before I came, I hadn't heard of hardly any of this, much less participated. My path has been A Course in Miracles since 1997. While familiar to some, it's not mainstream by any means. The text can be quite difficult to comprehend. There are groups all over the world that meet for the purpose of reading and understanding its principles. It is important to have a teacher in the group that interprets it correctly, and the correct interpretation is non-dualism. The Course says God is only love, God is all there is. Anything that is not love is an illusion. That's the basis, simple but not easy. It helps to be reminded. Once here, I began to search in earnest for a Course group close by. And we all know the Course in Hendersonville will lead you to Charlotte McGinnis. Charlotte spent time with some big names in the Course like Marianne Williamson and Ken Wapnick. She leads it like my longtime teacher in Memphis, strictly non-dualist. Attending the center exposed me to many different beliefs, but I have always known, I think we all have, that God or Spirit, or whatever term feels right for you, can be reached in countless ways. Perhaps the purpose of us being called together from different parts of the world is to be reminded that God comes in various shapes, colors, and beliefs. I have to chuckle when I think of all the time I spent trying to plan the perfect future. I was searching for omens that would ensure happiness and avoid pain. I was trying to do everything right and avoid mistakes. Had I just trusted and turned it over to Spirit, I could have relaxed and enjoyed the adventure. Did I need to feel all the anxiety of trying to control everything when it was out of my hands anyway? Probably. In the past, it seems an unfortunate truth that pain gets our attention. But when I look out at all of you, can we doubt that everything is being set up by a loving, supportive universe? I didn't pray for a spiritual Mecca, just a happy gathering place, and I would say that my prayers have been answered. Namaste.